Remember when pagers were the height of communication? Or when you had to find a payphone just to call back and get the details? That was a far cry from 2025. That was the 80s, the era of neon fashion, big headbands, and some of the coolest gadgets and trends that defined an entire generation.
You know, it's kind of wild thinking back to a time before smartphones, before streaming, even before the internet was really everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
The 1980s, that decade was just an explosion of new tech.
It really was.
And today we're looking at 6 gadgets that weren't just like new toys, they were total game changers.
Yeah, things that really shaped how we played, how we communicated, even how we told our stories.
Exactly. We've dug into the info on these to figure out their impact and, why they still kind of resonate.
Right. So today's deep dive, we're hitting the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, Polaroid cameras, the Casio calculator watch.
Ah, yes.
The speak and spell, that whole VHS versus Betamax war.
Oh, the format wars.
And of course, the original brick phone.
Yeah.
Our mission. Uncover what made them revolutionary, their cultural ripple effects, and their sort of lasting legacy.
Okay, let's jump right in with the Nintendo NES. Before it showed up, the whole video game scene was, well, it was a bit of a disaster zone, wasn't it?
It really was. You had that big crash in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Confidence was rock bottom. The market was just flooded with terrible games.
So what did Nintendo do differently?
Well, a few smart things. First, really strict quality control. You couldn't just shovel any old game onto the NES.
Right, the Nintendo seal of quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then bundling Super Mario Bros. With the console. That was just genius.
That game alone sold systems.
Absolutely. It rebuilt trust and honestly made video games mainstream. Mario, Zelda.
Yeah.
These weren't niche anymore.
Became household names. And it's funny how those games still hold up. People use emulators. Nintendo released those classic editions.
Totally. The appeal is definitely still there.
Right.
Quick bit of trivia. The first controller design actually had a little joystick.
No way. They swapped it for the D-pad.
Yep. Pretty late in the process, apparently.
Huh. Okay, moving from pixels to prints. Polaroid cameras, instant photos. Before that, you had to wait, right? Send film off.
You did. There was a wait. Polaroid made it immediate. Taking a picture and then boom, watching it develop right there in your hand. That was magical almost.
That instant gratification factor was huge. You think about parties, snapshots, maybe even like art projects.
Oh yeah, it was everywhere. So iconic, those square photos with the white border.
And it's interesting, instant photography is kind of back now, isn't it? With the new Polaroids, Fujifilm Instax.
It is. And a fun fact, the inventor, Edwin Land, supposedly got the idea when his young daughter asked why she couldn't see the picture right after he took it.
A kid's question sparked it all. Okay, from photos to math on your wrist, the Casio calculator watch.
The height of 80s geek chic.
Totally. Digital watches were becoming a thing, but putting a calculator on there, that was next level.
It was pure novelty, but also kind of useful, right?
Yeah.
It tapped into that fascination with making technology personal, wearable.
Yeah, and you saw them in movies, like Back to the Future became this symbol.
Definitely. And you can kind of trace a line from that to today's smartwatches, even if they're way more powerful.
It's amazing they crammed that tech in back then. Tiny buttons.
Yeah, some even had a little stylus.
Wild. Okay, next up, learning toys. Speak and spell.
Ah, yes. A big leap from, wooden blocks.
For sure. What was so groundbreaking?
It used synthesized speech, a computer voice teaching kids how to spell. It made learning interactive, kind of futuristic.
That robotic voice is unforgettable. SPELL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huge cultural impact. And you still see voice tech in kids' learning tools today, obviously much more advanced, but the root is there. And that voice tech was pretty cutting edge for its time. It wasn't just playing recordings, it was actually generating the sounds.
Really sophisticated stuff. Okay, now for the big showdown. VHS versus Betamax.
The format war. Home video was just starting, letting people record TV, watch movies whenever.
Both seemed pretty amazing at the time. Beta was maybe technically better.
Slightly better picture, yeah. But VHS tapes could record for longer. 2 hours, then 4, then 6. That turned out to be the killer feature.
Right, because you could fit a whole movie on one tape easily. That totally shaped the video rental store boom.
Absolutely. Accessibility won out. Movie nights at home became a massive thing thanks to VHS winning that war.
Even though tape is mostly gone now, replaced by streaming and discs before that.
It's funny, the technically superior format doesn't always win. Marketing, convenience, those things matter. Longer recording time was just more practical for most people.
True. Okay, last one. The brick phone. The dawn of mobile.
The ultimate 80s status symbol. Huge, heavy, and unbelievably expensive.
Like, actually costs more than a car sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. The Motorola Dynatac 8000X, the first big one, was around $4,000 in 1983 money.
Insane. But it was revolutionary being able to make a call from almost anywhere.
Totally. Despite the size and the terrible battery life, maybe 30 minutes of talk time.
Wow.
It was the start of it all. The ancestor of the sleek little supercomputers we all carry now.
Right.
You saw them in movies like Wall Street, right? Power symbol.
Definitely. So let's recap. 6 gadgets. The NES bringing games back from the dead.
Polaroid giving us instant memories.
The calculator watchmaking geek chic.
Speak and spell teaching with a robot voice.
VHS winning the tape war and changing movie nights.
And the brick phone. Starting the mobile revolution, one expensive call at a time.
It's amazing, really. These things seem almost quaint now, but they genuinely laid the foundation for so much of our current tech.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What are the gadgets we're using right now, today, that people will look back on in 30 or 40 years with that same kind of nostalgic wonder?
Yeah, what defines our era technologically in the way these defined the 80s? Something to ponder.